is Hans and this is Bob, and we are trying to make maple syrup out of the sap from the trees. And some young folks here told me they tried some sap and it was tasting pretty watery. So that's the problem. If you want maple syrup, you want it sweet, of course. But the sap from the trees has only very low sugar content, about 2% maybe right now. And but the maple syrup, we want the 66% sugar. So what we have to do, we have to remove a lot of water from the sap to get maple syrup. That's what we're doing right here. So we're basically getting the sap from the trees when it runs in the maple sugaring season between the beginning of February till middle of March, depending on the temperature. And we get it from the trees with a front loader and a barrel and connect it to this pipe here. We put it into this holding tank, the sap from the trees, and it runs out through this hose, through a regulating valve into the evaporator. This unit is called the evaporator. And we have a very hot fire down there. As you can see, we flare some wood, and a lot of wood. We use a lot of wood during the season. So the evaporator works as follows. I have a picture here. This is a look from onto the top of the evaporator. The sap runs into here. The evaporator consists of some channels right here, and the sap runs back and forth while the water is evaporating. It goes into the second flat pan here, and also then getting darker and darker and darker because it's becoming more and more like maple syrup. And right in the last channel, right here, we will have maple syrup sooner or later. But how do we know there's maple syrup? Well, it depends on the temperature. We need a temperature of 219 degrees, which is 7 degrees above boiling water. That's when we have maple syrup, right in this last channel. That's why we have a thermometer right here, and we monitor it. If we have 219 degrees, we open this tap and tap off some of the maple syrup into this bucket. As soon as the temperature goes down a little bit, we have to close it because we have only hot sap here and not maple syrup. At the end of the day, we bring this to the visitor center, boil it again, filter it again, and put it into these bottles. And this we conserve for quite a few years. And it says on here 100% pure maple syrup. So why is it 100% pure? Because we are not adding anything. We don't add any preservatives or flavors or anything. It's just 100% pure maple syrup. You're just removing water from the sap and get maple syrup, and that's it. That's all it's to it. That's a long process. This one you can buy in the store too. It's called Vermont made syrup, but it's not maple syrup. It's really not maple anything. It's not even made in Vermont. And on the back it says all the ingredients it has. You know, 4 lines of ingredients here, from artificial color and flavor and this and that. So I cannot pronounce most of the things anyway. This tastes pretty good too, and it's of course much cheaper because it's much easier to make. But I think ours is much healthier because it has no ingredients, nothing artificial in there.